Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Welcome to It's Still Real to Me. I'm your host, John Kucher, aka Johnny Fashion. With me as always, Big Bad Harmon. What's going on, my man?
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Just bringing my shitty laryngitis voice to the show tonight. So yeah, sounds
I
pretty
hear we
awesome.
got I hear we got a special guest tonight. Do we have the semi-regular Greg?
We do. Greg Marston in the house. What's going on, Greg?
Semi-regular Greg is here.
We love having
Looking
you.
to be semi-regular as always.
What have you been up to, man?
I've been doing some schoolwork, trying to get the old MBA. So I just finished a class last week. So a lot of video games in my future until I start back up again in January.
Nice.
Your daughter's kindergarten homework does not count as towards your MBA.
Well, it's really hard though.
Jesus Christ. You leave it to Harmon. Unbelievable. This man's trying to better himself, Harmon. You get nothing but insults.
One fish, two fish, red fish, green.
Yep. That's how it goes.
5.
You're an asshole. Unbelievable. Oh, boys. Well, Greg, thanks for joining us. We've got a lot of WWE stuff to talk about tonight. We've kind of been away from the WWE stuff for the last couple of weeks. We've been really chatting up the Limitless Wrestling, kind of the local scene around here, around Maine. We had Scotty Wild on last week and Maine State Posse on the week before. So, you know, we're gonna look back. We're gonna get back into some WWE stuff. There's a lot going on. Kind of missed some stuff, but we're gonna try and catch up here and see what's going on. First of all, let's get into some plugs first. You guys can catch us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. Search ISR2M podcast, and that's where you're gonna. Also, Limitless Wrestling, they have a event coming up this weekend, Sunday, October 29th, at the New Balance Fieldhouse at the University of Maine in Orono. They've got Who Watches the Watchmen. Looks to be an awesome.
It's Saturday, but
Is it Saturday? Did I say Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. That's why you got my back, buddy. Saturday, October 29th. New Balance Fieldhouse. Greg, you're familiar with that area. You went to school up there, right?
I did, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah, right on.
It's a pretty big venue. It'd be a pretty great place to go watch a show. I would think.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, so if you guys want tickets, go to limitlesswrestling.com. Get them now. The show looks to be awesome.
Or if you're up there just for the Bangor Fest, your ticket is good for a general admission seat.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah. Also, real quick, I just did a unboxing for that wrestling club. It was a Halloween box theme, so it was pretty awesome, man. Got some cool stuff. Gangrel autograph, some other cool stuff. So check it out. It's on my YouTube. Go there. Subscribe to my YouTube.
The Zombie Undertaker.
Oh, the Zombie Undertaker. It's pretty awesome. I'm actually looking
I
at
got
it right now.
I got the Zombie Triple H, and it is badass.
Oh, you got a Triple H? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome. Doesn't it have like a ripped out quad or something?
It does. It has a ripped out quad, and then the face is like the skull mask that he's worn on some occasions.
Oh, that's awesome. The ripped out quad is such a subtle.
I know.
Oh, it's fantastic. Cool. All right, fellas, let's get right into it. Let's see. Let's talk first. Harmon, your gal Sarah Lee posted a picture on Instagram today talking about her baby bump, having babes with what's his face there, the no-name guy from Blake and Murphy. Blake. I hate Blake, by the way. I think Blake's terrible.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a terrible wrestler, but he looks really soft nowadays. I thought that he was like more cut, like in their championship
During that title
days.
run, he was.
Yeah. So he's really kind of let himself go. But anyway, Sarah Lee, she got released recently, and she's just doing the whole preggers thing. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, good for her. Way to get a $250,000 contract and then be a ring rat and get knocked up.
Well, Jesus, man. I mean, she's having a baby. So, I mean, the miracle of life, man. So,
but you think if you were pursuing your dream and this is what you wanted to do, and you have an opportunity to you have a $250,000 contract, and like she's been in NXT now for like almost a year and a half, and she hasn't progressed, and she just gets I guess fooling around is more important than pursuing your dream and having a career. So, way to go, way to get pregnant on the job.
Well, hold on. I mean, she's having a child, dude. I mean, that's pretty awesome. She doesn't seem too upset about it. It's not like it's
it's because she knows she sucked in the ring. She couldn't have made it there. She might as well be a housewife.
Jeez.
Wow, you are, again, for the second time today, I'm going to say to you, you are playing with fire, my friend. Like, I don't know, man.
It's like one step up from what Paige is pulling right now, I mean, I know Paige is hurt, but screwing around with Del Rio and, just throwing, caution to the wind, to hell with my fans, to hell with my career. I want to be happy. Yeah, I'm sure that'll last.
Well, I think Paige's situation is a little bit more off kilter than Sarah Lee. I mean, she seems a little bit more with it. I mean, Paige seems like she's going on like a bender. Sarah Lee, I mean, this happens all the time, man. Like, women get pregnant, and it's not like the end of the world. I mean, she can always go back to wrestling. I mean, she's going to be a mom, and I'm sure she's thrilled about it. And, it's like, it's the miracle of life, man. In the grand scheme of things, like, a kid is worth way more than $250,000, bro. So I'm sure she's going to be okay. She doesn't seem heartbroken about, like, her wrestling dream falling apart. She seems to be okay with having a child. So
yeah, she's just proving Vince's point. This is the reason why Vince doesn't want to push women. Oh, because they get like pregnant anytime, and then they're off TV for fucking 3 years.
Well,
you are just really painting yourself.
Vince is also like 70, so
yeah, he's not the most progressive man.
Yeah, his way of thinking is pretty antiquated. So
yeah,
I mean, why bother pushing a girl if she doesn't care about her career, and she'll just completely throw storylines in the trash to be done with it for a while. I mean, at least Brie Bella did it right. She's planning on having a family. She retired. She's off. She's pregnant. Good for them. But she did it the right way. She's out of wrestling.
I don't think Sarah Lee planned it. It doesn't seem like she planned it.
Exactly. That's the irresponsible part of it.
What? I don't think.
Yeah, but shit happens.
Yeah, shit happens. Be on the pill. Use a condom. Tell that fucker to pull out.
Well, I mean, first of all, we don't know the specifics of it. But like, this happens in like the WNBA all the time. I mean, like, women get pregnant, man, and like they take 2 or 3 seasons off to have a child and be with their kid. And
yeah, that's why that sport's doing so great.
Well, I'm saying like WWE, I feel like is definitely behind the times when it comes to progressing women. It's just, you look at it as sport, and you look at it as like acting, and you look at it as entertainment. Like, women actresses, like, they get pregnant all the time, and they work it into storylines or whatever. But I don't know, man. I think it's a little harsh.
They're not taking bumps, 3 days a week.
Well, right, but I think it's a little harsh to be like, oh, she's so irresponsible. She like blew her chance. She gave up all this money just to have a kid. I mean, it's like, it's a kid. I mean, it's a pretty.
How's it working out for Rosa Mendez? You haven't seen her since she had her baby. And she was working to get back in the ring. They're not going to let her back in the ring.
But like
she
so
sucked to begin with, so she had a baby. Nope,
but
sorry, we're not going to bring it back.
Right, but I think you're looking at it as wrestling being number one priority, and these women are looking at it as their lives and their families being number one priority. So I just think
why wouldn't it be the number one priority? There's only so many people on the roster. This is going to be like one of the most coveted on TV jobs. If you have ever loved wrestling or ever thought to be a wrestler, this is where you want to be. And there's only so many spots. It should be your number one priority.
Right, but the addition of like having a kid, though, I think changes a lot. I mean, maybe you don't understand that because you don't have a kid, and that's not a dig at you by any means. I'm just saying, like, I have a kid and you don't, so like, I just know what it's like to have a kid, and that kid is like number one priority. So it's like to really kind of say like, oh, they're so irresponsible for having a kid, like it's not, man. I mean, they're procreating, like they're providing for their kid. I mean, they're inviting another life into this world, which is a pretty amazing thing. It's like on the grand scheme of things, wrestling is like doesn't mean shit, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a little harsh to be like, oh, she's so irresponsible. It's like she's not, man. Like she's having a child. Like, I don't know. No.
She could have got a tattoo on her face and been less, irresponsible.
That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Come on. I don't know, man. She's bringing a child into the world, and she seems to be thrilled about it. So I don't see those.
This would be like in the middle of the season, Tom Brady decides to get a tattoo on his hand and he can't throw for 3 weeks. It's game time. This is what you're doing.
That would be like Tom Brady accidentally getting a tattoo on his hand. It's not the same thing. And you could be on the pill and all that stuff, and No,
I understand how sex ed works, but this is just. I think it's stupid. It's stupid.
I just think it's I just think it's an oopsie, and I also agree with John that being on TV, being in wrestling, it doesn't mean crap once you're having a kid. Like the kid becomes number one. So I don't know if that's what's going on with Rosa Mendez, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, we can move on to something else. It seems like we're on two different wavelengths. So I'll we'll move on to something else before Harmon says something else that buries this podcast. Let's see. Lesnar is going to happen. And I will say this. I was not too happy about it. I mean, you can go back a couple episodes on this podcast, and I was like, oh, this sucks. This is going to be boring. I'm not excited about it. But I will say this. When Goldberg made his return that night, I stayed up for it, and I was pretty amped about it. And I thought he did really well. I thought his promo was cool. He definitely, looks a little smaller than he used to. But I don't know. What are you guys amped about this or not? Harmon, we'll start with you.
When Goldberg came out and cut his promo there 2 weeks ago, I liked it. I bought right in. I was excited for the match to happen after that. Then this past week when Brock came out and Paul Heyman did all the talking, and the crowd was just poo-pooing everything, cheering. I mean, it knocked me down to earth to remind me that we've seen this before, and it's probably going to be garbage.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I'm not excited to see the match as much as, like, the build-up, because, like I said, Goldberg.
I liked how cool. Goldberg came out and told everybody, why he was doing it, and he's doing it because his son never got to see him wrestle, and, he misses being the superhero, and I don't know. I thought the whole Brock thing pretty much, killed it. It just...
Goldberg seemed... Goldberg in that one night, in one promo, seemed more real and more genuine than he did ever, like I've ever remembered him.
Yeah.
And the only really big issue with this match is that last time they had a match, it was not great, and both of them were in much better shape and much more athletic. So I don't see how this match is going to go well unless it's like, I don't know, like some stuff is going to have to happen throughout the match to carry it. I just can't see these two having just a straight up one-on-one regular match where, I don't know. I just think it's going to be a disaster. I don't know how it can't be. It's going to be cool.
I don't expect Goldberg to come out and look as jacked as he used to. I think when he was on the Stone Cold podcast, Stone Cold spent like a weekend with him, and he was talking about how he eats now, and he does a lot more like circuit training and lighter weights, but he still does kickboxing, he still does Muay Thai. He's still in phenomenal shape. He's just a lot lighter, and he might be not be able to do a backflip in the ring, but he's still pretty spry. I think it's not going to be like the two monsters, butting heads like it was before. Goldberg's going to seem a lot smaller. He's probably 240 right now, maybe 230, 240, and Brock is still 290.
Yeah. The WWE 2K game, like the new one, like when they pit the two together, when they do the promo, and like they just, of course, like they jack him up for the game and everything, but like Goldberg looks ridiculously huge.
Yeah.
I'm like, he does not look like that. Come on. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I think that the match itself at Survivor Series is not going to be good. Everything leading up to it should be good. And even though this whole like Lesnar blunder that just happened with like him and Heyman coming out, like, I mean, it was such a stupid thing. Like, I don't really know what Vince's plan was. I mean, you're not going to get Lesnar booed like in his home state.
Apparently, the promo was supposed to go longer, but Vince like blew a gasket at how the crowd was reacting and yanked it.
Right? Yeah, he cut it off because like the crowd was like chanting Suplex City and like chanting like Lesnar, and like Heyman's trying to like get them to boo him, and it just doesn't work. Like, just let it happen, let it be organic, and let whatever happens. Like, man, Vince just has too much control.
Well, I don't know how you're going to get people in Minnesota, where he wrestled in college, where he played football, to boo Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense. I mean,
if they had done it in Atlanta, Georgia, then he would have been booed out of the building.
Right. Ugh.
I almost feel like they already had him slated for that spot, and for Lesnar to show up that night, and I think maybe when they signed him up for that, they didn't know what they were going to be in with him, in what spot they were going to be in with him, and what match he was going to be involved in. But it was such a bad idea, like bad optics, to be trying to get him booed. If Goldberg would have been there, I think there was a good chance that maybe they would have booed him, but even then I'd be worried about that. So I don't know. I don't know who thought that was going to be a good idea.
Brock Lesnar hasn't been in a match that I cared about since WrestleMania 31.
I know, right? It hasn't meant anything. He just goes in and suplex guys, but
yeah, and every single one of his matches looks exactly the same. We all know that he doesn't give a shit about wrestling. He's just there for a paycheck. This is just a job. He doesn't have any passion. He doesn't care about any storylines. He just wants to go in there, get paid, go home. I don't know why people cheer for the fucking guy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get even why they wanted to get him boos the other night. I mean, he can go in and get cheered in Minnesota and just, like, it's fine. Like, what's the problem with that? I don't understand. Like, people can cheer for Goldberg and people can cheer for Lesnar. Like, I don't get what the problem is, but like, Vince is so hard-nosed about this. There's got to be a heel. There's got to be a face. Goldberg's coming back.
Well, he probably thought he had his clear-cut baby face with Goldberg,
right?
After the week before. I mean, he got a great promo. He was winded as all hell, but he cut a good promo, made his case, was the obvious baby face who everybody should be cheering, And then you go to Minnesota, and everybody's also cheering Brock Lesnar.
Well, yeah, but people have been cheering Brock Lesnar for like what 2 years now, like pretty steadily. I don't think that he's been getting a lot of boos. So I don't know. Maybe just that one promo by Goldberg like changed Vince's mind and be like, oh, like you said, like here's the baby face, and they're cheering Goldberg. So clearly Lesnar's gonna be the heel. So, but it just doesn't work like that. Like people can cheer for two guys that are going to fight each other.
Well, the other thing too is they've put so much emphasis lately as of there's no more faces and heels.
Right.
Well, you can't try to work along those lines and then be surprised when that kind of thing bites you in the ass. Pro wrestling is always going to need good guys and bad guys, no matter how much you want to blur the lines. It's not friggin' UFC. So you need to tell stories, and you can't do that without good and bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you guys don't have anything else on this, I'll move on. Speaking of UFC, UFC fighter Kat Zingano calls out Sasha Banks on Twitter, which I think is silly. I feel like it was kind of a little zinger, a little jab, but at the same time, Fox News kind of, or Fox Sports kind of reported it as a serious thing, and I don't know. I think this UFC thing is getting a little out of control. Like, it's fun to blur the lines sometimes, but actual real fighters like calling out like WWE, pro wrestlers.
It's so dumb. It's like, what do you care? UFC, there's like personalities and fighters and all these people that act like they don't care about WWE, and WWE is less than. And so if they feel that way, then they need to just, like Conor McGregor, and like, why are you even talking about it if it's no threat to you? You know what I mean? Why do you keep bringing it up?
Yeah, and like poor Sasha. I mean, she's clearly not like a fighter. She's a pro wrestler, and she's very good at it. But like, she's not going to step in the octagon anytime soon and like have a real fight with a real MMA fighter. Like, it's just silly. It makes UFC and really MMA itself like look bad if if their fighters are going after untrained fighters. It's just silly. So
the UFC and MMA fighters, they're all butthurt because everybody loves pro wrestling and nobody's watching their shit anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like their stock has to be plummeting, and that's why they keep having to bring in like, these gimmick fights, or these stars, borrowing stars like Lesnar, or bringing like a gimmick,
or having guys wrestle. Fight in different weight classes all the time because they don't have any stars in the other weight classes. So let's bring a guy up to fight the other guy who's good in that weight class.
Right?
It's ridiculous. They're all just a bunch of whiny butthurt bitches because WWE and wrestlers in general dominate the Twitter sphere and not MMA.
Right, and it's so silly too. It's like the way they're still looking at WWE in such an old style like mentality that they're looking at it through like the filter of like that it's real fighting. Like, we all know that it's fake, okay? Like, we all get it, like that it's staged and it's they're not really.
Yeah, it's not like they're going on the Twitter and going, "Hey, Jon Snow, why don't you lose the sword and fight a real man?"
Right, exactly, man. Exactly. You get it. Yeah. So it's like, if they were to take a look at it like through that lens of like,
"Hey, Power Ranger, you think you're so tough? Take off the helmet."
Right. They would have a different mentality of it, but
when you say it like
I don't
that,
know, I don't know what's missing.
When you put it in like context of another television show, another character, it just reminds you of how silly these MMA stars sound. I mean, that's exactly what they're doing.
The funny thing is that they attack each other, pro wrestlers and UFC. They attack each other and they fight on Twitter, and I think neither side is conditioned or is trained to do the other's activity. Like, I don't think that WWE wrestlers would have the toughness. We just saw that with CM Punk. He got friggin' knocked out or tapped out. But I also don't think that UFC fighters would have the endurance to do to fight in a fight in a WWE ring. I just don't think that the one side could do the other side justice.
Well, I think with like with CM Punk too, you got to figure he's what, like 36, 37 years old doing that. If he had done it, if he had crossed over when he was in his 20s, he might have, you know, like Brock Lesnar. He was in his what, early to mid 20s when he went over to UFC for the first time and got all that training. And when he goes back at 36, you know, he's still pretty good. I think
but Brock Lesnar is kind of a freak of nature.
He is, but I'm just saying. I think if Kurt Angle had gone into the UFC instead of, you know, I mean, he was obviously an Olympic wrestler, but I think, you know, a lot of these guys have amateur wrestling backgrounds. Jason Jordan was a great collegiate wrestler, and he's, you know, a pretty darn good pro wrestler. If he had gone into MMA instead of wrestling, I think he'd have been fine.
Yeah. Well, I think the one big difference too, though, is like that MMA or that WWE or just pro wrestling in general is that it takes a certain amount of like charisma to succeed there. You know, you can be super athletic, but at the end of the day, it's not just all athleticism. It's charisma, it's personality, it's acting, it's all these things that, you know, you could be the most gifted and athletic MMA fighter, but you know, you go over to pro wrestling and try to cut a promo or try to put on a believable, safe match. Like, it doesn't always work out. There's very few that go from MMA to WWE that really succeed. I mean, you think there's only like a handful that I can really even think of, like Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn. I know I'm missing a few, but like right now, currently, like Matt Riddle is one that stands out. But
yeah, but at least Matt Riddle has got some charisma, you know.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, he's great, he's fantastic. But like, I think it's more difficult for someone to be a seasoned like MMA fighter to go to WWE, because I think WWE need more than just being really athletic. I think that you know, and to master your craft. I mean, WWE is a huge craft to master. It's athleticism and, you know, endurance and charisma and personality and all this different things. I think it's harder. I think it's harder to do than MMA, you know, but that's just my personal opinion.
No, I get what you're saying, but you know, they're on both sides, you know, of the talk here. You know, you've got some wrestlers, you know, pro wrestlers that probably could have done okay in MMA.
Yeah, but
for the most part, they're entertainers.
Right.
And on the MMA side, you've probably got some entertaining MMA guys that probably could have made pretty good pro wrestlers. I think like a Brandon Vera or a Forrest Griffin. Those guys had enough personality. They probably could have gotten over as wrestlers. But, you know, they chose that way. The wrestlers chose the pro wrestling way. You know, there's a little bit of crossover that could probably happen, but for the majority, your more entertaining guys are going to be wrestlers, and your more athletically gifted guys are going to be in MMA.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like they always talk about like toughness, and I think it's two different kinds of toughness. I think that, you know, there's a tough like MMA guy that's, you know, oh, he's a tough fighter. Like he can take a punch, or, you know, he can take like punishment for like a short amount of time. You know, he can take a hit to the face or a hit to the body and be okay. Whereas like pro wrestlers, their bodies are, you know, taking punishment, maybe not as direct, but for longer periods of time. Like just taking bumps is a crazy amount of, you know, it takes a crazy amount of toughness to take bumps day in and day out.
You know, we saw a little bit of that in with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho fought the New Day a couple weeks ago. Chris Jericho got smashed in the nose, and his nose was bleeding the entire match. Right. He, you know, checked it a couple times, but he pretty much has to like no sell that the rest of the match.
Right. Yeah.
So. And then he's going to work the next day with it too. You know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
MMA guy gets punched in the nose, breaks his nose. He doesn't have to fight for another 6 months. You know, right. John Cena takes a knee to the face, crushes his nose. He's back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I definitely think physically it's way tougher to be a WWE superstar, and so it's kind of annoying to have these like these people like, you know, especially with Conor McGregor, and he might have just been trolling, and that's fine, but you know, it's way more physically demanding to be a WWE superstar than to be a UFC fighter, and that's just a fact. It's just because of how much they have to do.
Yeah, I mean, in MMA, you're going to be in training and you're going to be rolling around, and you know you could get hurt doing that. But nobody's asking you to take a backdrop onto a concrete floor. You know, nobody's asking you to climb on top of the octagon and dive onto a guy on a table. You know,
right?
Yeah,
yeah, like day in and day out. Like
right?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
So.
You're not having to do a ladder match for 30 straight weeks before you actually have one on a pay-per-view. You know,
right, exactly. So, well, moving on too, like kind of sticking with the "oh, you think wrestling's fake" kind of thing. You guys seen Austin Aries' eyeball today? Holy shit! That thing is disgusting. He takes a kick from Shinsuke, and it just destroys his eye. And I saw the picture today on Twitter, and it looked like friggin' Glenn from The Walking Dead this week.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna compare to that, but I was like, spoiler alert.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, brutal. His eye is just huge. So that's too bad. Another NXT casualty for a little bit. I'm assuming. I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but he'll be out probably for a little bit, maybe a couple weeks. It didn't say anything was broken. It just said it was a shiner, which I thought was definitely an understatement by far.
If that thing was any more blown up, he'd be asking Mick to cut him.
Yes, exactly. Nice Rocky reference. Yeah. So hopefully that swelling goes down and you can actually see his eyeball, soon. But yeah, that's too bad. I love Austin Aries. He's such a key part of NXT. Plays a good heel. So I hope he comes back soon. What else? Oh, one last thing I kind of want to talk about. Our good buddy AR Fox debuted on Lucha Underground recently. We had the chance to interview Fox a couple weeks back, and he told us about it. He told us that he was debuting, but we couldn't talk about it on the air because it hadn't aired yet. So we had to keep it all hush hush. But yeah, and then it was really cool to kind of see it come to fruition. And I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. I know Harmon, I think you have.
Yep.
It was cool. It was definitely cool to see him kind of surprise walk out and basically destroy Killshot. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he destroyed Killshot and then like took off his dog tags and like threw him down on top of him. And it was cool. Yeah. And they didn't have it this week on Lucha. They didn't talk about it.
No. So
it'll probably be on next week.
Yeah, I know he plays an integral part of, in Lucha moving forward, just from what he told us, which we cannot talk about, but I know that he has a big role in it. So
I've watched Lucha 2 weeks in a row now. What a great show.
It's good, right? I haven't watched it consistently, which is too bad. I think I have a vacation coming up pretty soon, and I think I'm going to like lock myself in a room and just like watch every episode ever. It's like just back to back.
Yeah, you can get it on iTunes.
Yeah, and like I think the first season is just on YouTube. I don't know if the second season is or not, but you can just watch it for free, like on YouTube. So, but yeah, I might have to do that because I catch like episodes just like randomly. But yeah,
like this past week, Johnny Mundo used brass knucks on a woman. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan of having women in there, but when you look at it through the lens of like comic books, like it makes sense. If you look at it through a different lens, like it totally makes sense. Like it's fine. It's not, abuse towards women. I mean, it's
Sami Callihan debuted this week.
Yeah. Oh, I love Sami Callihan.
He's in a weird spot though. He's Evalise's boyfriend.
Weird.
And he came out to like save her after she'd already lost. I don't know. It was weird.
Ugh, weird. I'll have to catch up on it, but yeah, looking forward to some more of that and seeing seeing what AR Fox does there. All right, guys, let's talk a little Raw, SmackDown stuff leading up into for Raw leading up into Hell in a Cell, but we can cover some SmackDown stuff too. Let's see. We'll start with Raw. Again, kind of going with the theme week to week now on Raw. Owens, Jericho, and Rollins are just really kind of carrying the show. Their segments were all really, really good. I thought their match was really good. The opening segment I thought was great with Jericho in the list, with Steph coming out. I thought it was really great, man. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but
I watched that much of it.
Yeah,
as always,
Greg, we'll start with you.
As always, Jericho continues to be the best thing about Monday Night Raw. He's very entertaining. Whenever he's on the screen, I put down my phone and I'm watching. And I think everything, the list, I mean, think of the stuff he's just putting over right now. He's like just getting people's names wrong. He's got a list that he's writing people's name down, and he's saying just the word "it." He's got the word "it" over. I mean, it's great. It's great stuff to watch. And like I said, a lot of Raw is like blah right now, and I'm always half paying attention. But Jericho already always has my full attention. The spot with Braun Strowman was pretty great as well.
Yes, yeah. Man. I watched Raw like live, which I don't really do very often, but the Goldberg night, I watched Raw live, and I was just blown away at like how long it really is. I mean, you guys complain about it a lot, and I mean, I sympathize, but I never watch it live. I always watch it on Hulu like the next day, and it's like a 90-minute version, and even that sometimes is excruciating to get through. But man, watching it live a couple weeks ago, I was just like, man, and the commercials are so long. It was exhausting and draining. I almost can't do it ever again. I'll just have to stick to the Hulu version. But Harmon, obviously you're a big Owens fan. What's your thoughts on this whole Owens, Jericho, Rollins angle? What do you think leading up into Hell in a Cell with Owens and Rollins?
I think it's going great.
Yeah.
They're really, building on the best friends thing, and how long is that going to last? And is Owens just using him? Is Jericho just hanging on to be that close to the title? And Stephanie McMahon's doing her part. And it's funny because Seth Rollins is bitching about all the same things that he was just doing last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's making for a great story. If I wish they could put half the effort they're putting into that story into any other story on that show. But that's really the only reason why I watch. I watch the first 20 minutes and then I watch something else and read the reviews the next day.
Yeah. Nice. I'll ask you guys this, because Jericho has been so amazing. Do you think WWE gives him one more crack at the title, like one more reign? Harmon, what do you think?
I think I would. I'd give him one more shot. If anything, he has got to be, a Slammy Award winner this year for like most entertaining wrestler of the year, whatever. He's just killing it. He's just doing some of his best work he's ever done.
Yeah. Greg, what about you?
I think they definitely should give it to him for a couple of reasons. First of all, he deserves it. I mean, he should have another title run. And then second of all, I mean, based on the talent that's on Raw right now, I mean, who are you really going to give it to? You've got Rollins and Owens going for the title, but they can't do it every month. You've got Reigns, but he's kind of in the U.S. title picture. I'm sure it'll be just a matter of time before he's back in the top. But, I mean, Jericho's an obvious person where we can have him be champion, be a great heel champion for, a while. So, I don't know. I think it'd be a logical path to go with Jericho as champion.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I think it'd be a nice gesture And it's definitely something that's deserving. And it'd be interesting to see how he like obtains it too. Like if he kind of screws over Owens or.
I think he's going to get his shot at WrestleMania. I think he's going to win the Royal Rumble.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Think about how long he was in the Royal Rumble last year.
I'd love to see him go coast to coast. I know Greg and I have been, chomping at the bit for somebody to go coast to coast again. That he'd be great.
That's all I want.
That's all I've ever wanted.
That's all I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
They did it. They used to do it so much. Like they overdid it, and now it's like been forever. And I'm sure it's really like I'm talking like it's like a 20-minute jog around the block. I'm sure it's pretty tough to go coast to coast, even with taking rests in the corner or whatever. But I think it's time somebody does it.
Yeah, and I think Jericho at his age, it would be very impressive too. Like Harmon said, like he lasted forever last year, so he's definitely got the wind to do it.
He does DDP yoga. He can do anything.
That's right. Yeah. Let's see what else happened on Raw. There was a really awkward contract signing between Charlotte and Sasha for the Hell in a Cell match. First of all, this match, they've said it's the main event. Is it like the main event? Because they've also said that it's like a triple main event.
Well,
like at Hell in a Cell.
Well, I think
which
Foley,
is insane to me.
Foley went on Twitter and was kind of like, yeah, the women are going to main event for the first time ever. And then he kind of backed off of that and was like, yeah, it's a triple main event. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. It really should. I'm sure the match is going to be fantastic. And it's going to be really cool to see the first women's Hell in a Cell, I think. But it also would be the first time that a women's match headlines the pay-per-view. I don't think you need to have both. I think you could save that for like another pay-per-view where the women are the main event of the like main roster pay-per-view. Why don't we do one thing at a time,
Yeah. They're really like adding a lot of pressure to like these ladies to perform. Like it just
man, and they keep telling us this is history. This is history.
Right.
First of all, like you don't know it's going to be a historic match until it's done, and it isn't historic just for the fact that it, the first of its kind or, I guess that's a type of history, but, did anybody think that, Macho Steamboat was going to be the historic match that it was at WrestleMania?
Right.
It was that's on the card, It wasn't supposed to be the show stealer. It was, supposed to be something else. It's supposed to be the main event. It's supposed to steal the show, but you can't tell people what's going to be good. I mean, what if they go in that Hell in a Cell match and it stinks? They just stink up the place.
I know.
I mean, they don't know how to work in the cage. It's just a regular match maybe with a cage around it. Big friggin' deal. The cage is a horrible thing to like shoot cameras around and everything. It just looks bad all the time. I don't know. It could be a complete clusterfuck.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen bad Hell in a Cell matches, so I mean, it's possible that this could be bad. Chances are it's going to be a good match, but I mean, they're just putting way too much on it. Just let it be what it is, which is the first women's Hell in a Cell match. I feel like that's cool in itself. And we don't need to be like, oh, you guys are going to love this. You guys are going to love this. Well, yeah, we know we're going to probably like it. So why don't you just shut up about it?
Yeah, well, we don't need to see the first women's Foley dive off the top of a cage either.
Right. Charlotte's going to do that. And she's just going to like crush Sasha. It always scares me when she like does like some crazy corkscrew from the top outside, like onto Sasha, because Sasha's just so tiny compared to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. But I'm right there with you guys again. I think, the Hell in a Cell is cool enough. But to come out and say that it's like main eventing and then say like, oh, it's a triple main event. Like, fuck that. I hate that. I hate when
it's not a triple main event. You have maybe
you have
3 main event quality matches.
The match that goes on last is the main event.
Thank you. Yes, that's how it should always be. I mean, like UFC does that too. Oh, it's a double main event. No, it's not. It's like what match is going on last? That's the match that you value the most.
Yes, you've picked the match that is going to be the best match. That's your main event. If there's a match that comes before it, you didn't feel like that was going to be as good, so that is not the main event.
Right? Yeah.
It's pretty logical.
You know, it's like,
I mean,
well, pay-per-view was it just they just had there on SmackDown, the SmackDown pay-per-view. They put the main event, first match of the night. Well, it's not really the main event, then, is it?
No, exactly. That phrase you keep using, I don't think it means what you think it means.
Right.
But
I wouldn't want a triple main event. There's no way as a fan I can handle 3 main event matches in a row at the end of a card.
No,
it would drive me
way.
nuts.
Like good lengthy matches. Oh God, terrible.
The crowd would be so dead after like halfway through the second one. It would just be like crickets in the crowd.
Yeah. Oh man, what?
That's how I felt. That's how I felt at the Limitless show when Donovan Dijak and Brian Fury fought. Like I really wanted to get into it, I just couldn't.
Yeah, because every match on that card was like really good.
The match before it was so awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tough when and we're definitely not like trying to be spoiled wrestling fans and like don't put on good matches, but it's tough, man, when cards are long and there's a lot of matches and like every match you're just on the edge of your seat and it's going really good, and then it's like by hour 2.5 you're just like, oh my God, what I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So
and WWE is like just getting so famous for like, we'll put wrestling on for as long as we want and they'll watch forever and ever and ever. Like, Hell in a Cell's got a pre-show and a post-show, and it's going to be long. And I'm not going to go out of my way to watch Hell in a Cell. I'm going to probably lay in bed and watch it on my iPad, and I'll fall asleep and that'll be it. Like that's how I've watched the past few pay-per-views, because if it's not a big one, I just don't really care that much.
Yeah, it's not must-see TV anymore. Like that nothing special is going to happen that you're not going to be able to like catch up on quickly the next day. Like, dude, it's so funny. I just remember this. I remember, and Harmon, I hope you remember this too. I remember when we caught wind back in like, God, when was this? This was like, I think we were like right out of high school. We caught wind of that big show, or the Giant was coming over to WWE, and we caught wind somehow because it was like very early days of the internet that Paul White was jumping ship and coming to WWE, and he was going to appear at that pay-per-view. And we like begged your uncle to like get a pay-per-view, to buy us a pay-per-view, because he had like a box or something, or you could do it just to get that. Like we went like so far out of our way to get this pay-per-view to see this. And nowadays
St. Valentine's Massacre, what, 1990?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
8, 7, 8.
I don't know. Yeah, but it was like nowadays everything's so like easily accessible, and you're like, I could watch it tomorrow. It's not must-see TV anymore, and they're not really progressing to make it must-see TV. I mean, like the Goldberg thing was a great example. Like I stayed up to watch Goldberg the other day because it was such a spectacle, and I wanted to see it. But
is the network killing the pay-per-view?
I don't know if it's killing it. I mean, I definitely like it. It's a great price point, and I can.
The brand split is definitely killing the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's definitely hurting it.
I agree with that. We've talked about that. There's way too many pay-per-views.
Yeah, and it's just too much wrestling involved. Like, that's why it's not must-see TV, is because it's so much TV. It's like, we've run down the schedule like 100 times before, like with, Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and all this stuff. It's too much. So I don't know.
And I'm not liking NXT having a show the same weekend as the WWE having a show either. I think that makes for too much wrestling. You know?
Yeah.
They've been following around the big four, you know, doing a show the Saturday before, and it makes for a long weekend of wrestling. I don't really want to watch 12 hours of wrestling on a weekend.
The only time it's okay for NXT to have a show the same weekend is WrestleMania weekend, because it kind of all ties in together and it's pretty cool. Like I devote a lot of time to wrestling during WrestleMania because it kind of feels like special. You know what I mean? But if it's some random like weekend in friggin' October, I'm not going to just sit and watch wrestling for 13 hours in a week.
Yeah. No, I hear you guys.
I think wrestling should take a 2-week hiatus after every one of the big four pay-per-views.
Well, we've talked about this many times, man. Like, we love how, you know, the format that Lucha does. Like, they have seasons, they have storylines that begin and end, and then you have a break and you have an off season. And I don't know why WWE hasn't.
Not every storyline carries over to the next season.
Right.
You have some cliffhangers to keep you hanging on, wanting more, but other ones finish.
Yeah, but I mean, and I think that's great for us as a fan to kind of digest and watch. But I'm sure Vince just sees like dollar signs plummeting. Like, oh, I don't know, 2 weeks off, no money, can't do that. Like, I don't know. From a business point of view, I'm sure it's not the best, but I say from a quality of programming, it's probably much, much better.
I don't know. Yeah, Vince isn't going to change anything unless people like stop buying his shit.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
It's like trying to tell voters that you can vote for a third party. No, I can't. It won't count.
You're voting for a third party. I know you are.
You don't know shit.
Let's see. What else? Anything else happened on Raw that stood out? What's going on with the tag team division?
What tag team division?
I know. I have a sneaking suspicion that Sheamus and Cesaro might win the tag championships.
I don't think so, because I think they're gonna have New Day break Demolition's record.
Yeah, they've been talking about it enough.
So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna hold on to it.
That'll be sad.
I do kind of like. This is the most entertained I've been by Sheamus in a while. I do kind of like the pairing with Cesaro.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't love it, but it gives them both something to do that's not fighting each other 7 matches in a row.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I still think it gives them something to do, but I think it's still burying Cesaro from where he should be. Not that he should be in the title picture right now, but he should be around the U.S. title anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cesaro, but
Cesaro is that guy who should be around, at least around the mid-card title all the time, like Dolph Ziggler and The Miz are constantly.
Yeah, he's got to get way better on the mic, though. I mean, I love Cesaro, man. I'm right there with you. I like him. I want him to be like the U.S. champ or somewhere around there, but he's just like a gatekeeper. He gets there, and then I don't feel that it's like them not giving him the chance anymore. I mean, his popularity has definitely died down, since that like surge after Tyson Kidd got hurt. It's hard to kind of get behind somebody that is either hurt or just, I don't know. It's like he puts on good matches, but it's nothing like blowing me away anymore. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's Cesaro. He's a good worker, good hand. Okay, like he's not cutting great promos. He doesn't make me want to watch wrestling. Like, probably get shit for that because I know everybody loves Cesaro, but I don't know. I'm perfectly happy with where he is right now.
The thing with Cesaro right now too, I think, is he doesn't have any moves that seem super special anymore. He does
they really
all
wasted
his moves so much that none of them feel special. When Seth Rollins does a Phoenix Splash, it still feels special. And it just doesn't feel that way with Cesaro. How about how Raw is killing the cruiserweights faster than I've ever seen anything murdered in my life?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I love the cruiserweights, but holy shit, like they gotta they got to reformat this because they can't just like squeak them on like when it's convenient. Like, you know, like.
And do you have to change the entire ring over to cruiserweight purple?
Oh.
That's unnecessary.
Yeah, TJ Perkins promos are so cringeworthy. They're so bad. He just the video. He comes out. He makes video game references, and it's just like so bad. Like I can't even. Like I would rather listen to a Bailey and Nia Jax promo for 15 minutes than hear TJ Perkins for 1.
Ouch. I didn't think it was that bad, but yeah, it's not great. And I don't know if it's like...
He just comes on and he's like, I know you've got extra lives, but it's game over. Time to press start.
Yeah, but do you think that, like, that's him, or do you think that that's Vince saying...
Oh, that is definitely Vince.
Somebody's saying, like, hey...
I don't think it's him. I'm not blaming him. I'm sure somebody is writing those terrible promos for him.
Yeah,
but
just the poor sucker that has to do them.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to stop in some shape or form. I don't care who does it. But...
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like this weird... I love everything that Brian Kendrick's doing, but that weird little moment where he was like, essentially like asking TJ to like let him win was a little weird. And I know that Kendrick's like the shady veteran, you know, and it's definitely like all a ruse, more or less. But I don't know. I was just like, I want Kendrick to look strong, I guess.
Well, and his whole thing, every one of his promos is, oh, this is my last chance. I know this is my last chance. And it's like, well, I mean, not really. You're not super old. There's been wrestlers who have wrestled that are way older than you, and you're in pretty good shape, and you've also wrestled lots of matches recently. So I don't think this is like, if you don't win the title, you're gone.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is just flawed. I don't know.
Well, they did that with Christian like a couple years back too, where it was like one more match, and then he had like 100 more matches. It's like, what's going on with this Christian thing? So, I don't know. It's funny how they just recycle the same storylines. I don't know. That's basically all I have for Raw. If you guys have something else, let me know. But, I don't know. We can move on to SmackDown real quick. I think the AJ Dean with James Ellsworth thing is pretty money right now. What are your guys' thoughts on Ellsworth? Greg, I'll start with you.
Ellsworth is pretty entertaining. He's so I don't know if you guys have seen him on Talking Smack. I've been watching Talking Smack every week, and he's pretty entertaining on there just because he's so lovably awkward, I would say. And on the actual show on SmackDown, I do get worried that we're gonna get sick of him. I haven't gotten sick of him yet. I think it was pretty interesting how they ended things this past Tuesday with him costing Dean the match. You know, they could go a few ways with that. They could have him turn completely on Dean, which would be pretty interesting. They could have Dean Ambrose just be the ever-living hell out of him on Tuesday, which I think would be a good move, a good character move for Dean. So I don't know. It's been pretty interesting. I think SmackDown has been way more entertaining than Raw lately, story-wise anyway. AJ Styles is fantastic, and he's been the best thing about WWE this year. And the whole Miz and Dolph Ziggler thing, like, did you ever think that you could ever care about a Dolph and Miz feud? Like, I actually am entertained and I'm interested now. So, I don't know. I think overall, SmackDown has been pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I hear you. Harmon, what about you? What are your thoughts on Ellsworth?
Ellsworth, he is the modern day Barry Horowitz. He's like got the crowd behind him. He's the lovable loser, you know. It'll work for a while. It won't work forever. But hey, strike while the iron's hot. You know, you got a guy who comes in off the streets pretty much and is super over for getting his ass kicked and being awkward looking. So why not? As long as he doesn't become like a main fixture, you know, he's more of a set piece in this feud. I'm happy with it. And so far he has been. He hasn't really been, you know, nobody thinks it's serious when he's got a title shot against AJ Styles. It's just something that's happening, and it's interesting. But in your heart of hearts, he's not going to be pulling that off.
Right? Yeah. I hope that he doesn't become like the next, like Eugene. You know, where it's like they just beat this kind of gimmick to death and tag team with someone for comedy. I know that that's what he is. He's going to be a comedy act pretty much because he's not, you know, threatening, and he's not, you know, big, and he is what he is. But I don't know if he sticks around or not. It's interesting, man. It's really, really interesting. Of all the jobbers that I know he's got an interesting look and all, but he's the one that the crowd really connected to. You know, that night that he cut that promo and got chokeslammed by Braun Strowman. We all fell in love with him. So, and then he came back, which I thought was a great idea by WWE, because the popularity was there.
I like that he knows what he looks like, because his gimmick on the Independence was pretty Jimmy.
Yeah.
He knows he's not pretty.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting what they're going to do with him after this whole feud, and it's really interesting what they're going to do with him, you know, to try and decide where the title goes and where this feud goes with AJ and Dean. I like, Greg, what you said about, you know, maybe Dean turns on him and it's a good character development or a good character turn for Dean, but like, where does that leave Ellsworth? Because it's like I don't think he's going to align himself with AJ. Then you have like kind of two heels, I guess, against each other with AJ and Dean, because Dean can't really turn on Ellsworth without, you know, being looked at as like a heel. I don't know. It's just weird. Ellsworth is just this weird, like, enigma, like of a chess piece in this weird game. Like
an enigma wrapped in a dream.
Mixed with, I don't know, but he's just like, yeah, it's just hard to kind of grasp right now. I'm enjoying it. I like Ellsworth a lot. The no chin music cracks me up every time. I
liked it when AJ went to put him in the rear chin lock and he slipped right out, and he goes, I don't know, I have no chin.
Yeah, they're really playing it up. I love it. Other things going on in SmackDown, like you mentioned, Greg, the Ziggler Miz thing is fantastic right now. The reintroduction of the Spirit Squad has been awesome. How amazing does Kenny look? My God, what does that guy eat all day? Just like steamed fucking chicken. Like,
I know.
God damn it, that guy's ridiculous. I would find a spot for that guy immediately after this.
Here's a little inside podcast for everybody listening. Jonny Fashion texted me, and his exact text was, "What do you think Kenny's body fat percentage is?"
Yep, I said that in a text.
3%, 4%, maybe.
Yeah, I like when that guy came back, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like, that guy's ridiculous. I don't remember him looking that shredded.
Yeah, he's got a vein on his arm that you can follow all the way to his heart.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were going to say heart. I didn't think you were going to say
all the way to the tip of his heart.
Big purple veiny heart.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, I think you find a spot for that guy like immediately after this whole Spirit Squad thing. But I mean, again, like that kind of didn't work out last time he was around the company. He didn't have like such a great, singles run, and then he had like that backstage shit with Cena and everything. So I don't know. I mean, I was blown away that he even came back. But man, this whole feud's been great with Ziggs and Miz. Miz is doing awesome. Maurice is playing an integral part in it. Heath and Rhino are kind of getting involved. It's cool, man. They're involving people like
Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks are doing. I mean, Becky Lynch are doing their part, and Nikki and Carmella.
I'll say this about the Alexa and Becky Lynch thing is that I know how important and like monumental this whole Hell in a Cell thing is between Sasha and Charlotte, but when I was watching SmackDown, and Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss had their little in-ring kind of promo back and forth, like I was way more interested in what was going on there than I was in the Hell in a Cell match. Like Alexa Bliss, she is money. Like she is so good.
Oh, such a mean girl.
Like what a find, man. Like she is just fantastic on the mic. She's got a good in-ring style. Like I thought she was great that night.
I thought it was really cool. She did the whole throwback NWO spray painting the yellow streak down the back.
Yeah. That was great.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like SmackDown is just written so much better, and everything flows. It's great. I thought that was a great segment, their whole promo. I'm looking forward to like that match. Like if you were to take like these two matches, like the Alexa and Lynch and Sasha and Charlotte, and just put them side by side, if Charlotte and Sasha didn't have this Hell in a Cell stipulation thing, I would probably care way more about the Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch match.
Oh, now if you told me Alexa was going to do a Twisted Bliss Sparkle Splash off the top of a cage, I'd watch.
Oh, of course. It's amazing. So, what else? Oh, Bray and Randy did something weird. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
That's getting so weird that it's starting to be interesting almost. Like with Randy, RKO, and Kane.
Yeah.
And
I'm so confused that I have to watch it.
Yeah. What'd you say, Greg?
He's possibly joined the Wyatts. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't like it because it's a little reminiscent of the whole Daniel Bryan thing joining the Wyatts, but Randy definitely has like that dark side to him, so I could see him like willingly joining up at first. I don't know, but I hope it's not just a recycled storyline like the Daniel Bryan thing where he's just gonna join for a little bit and then infiltrate from the inside and I don't know. I think that's so overdone.
Oh, I think that if he joined, and as long as he doesn't dress like a hillbilly like the rest of them, and he just stayed like dark Randy, I think it would be awesome. I think he could inject so much more life into the family if he did that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'd love to see him stick around for a little while. It's something that I hadn't thought of before. I'd always thought of them feuding, but never really them joining up, which is weird. Just because, like I said, Randy has that dark side. But yeah, I'm down with it.
I mean, I'd like to see it just because, like from like say fantasy booking standpoint, I'd like to see them become powerful again.
Yes.
Like let's say, Bray and Randy get behind Luke Harper to go after the Intercontinental title. They're helping him out, they're pushing him, they're encouraging him, and they want their brother to get the Intercontinental title, and then. They're gonna kind of have to like draw straws to see who goes after the world champion. Is it gonna be Bray? Is it gonna be Randy? And then the whole family gets behind him. If it happens to be Bray, then Randy's right there. Tripping AJ outside the ring and distracting referees and helping out. Be a cohesive unit and be just dangerous.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of possibilities there with Randy being in the Wyatts. But it leaves the question, like, who are they going to feud with immediately? I mean, I get like Kane, sure, but I don't know. Like, I'm very much over Kane's in-ring ability at this moment, so I don't think excuse me, I don't think that's a really viable opponent for the Wyatts. And on top of that, Randy Orton with the Wyatts. I think like Kane is just pretty much a non-factor. So Kane would have to get some backup. But yeah, I don't know. Greg, what do you think?
I just want to see one day a faction hold all the belts.
I know, like DX did in the Hart Foundation. You know, like those were the good old days, man. Yeah. Greg, what are your thoughts on Bray, Randy kind of thing?
I think that would be really cool. I think a really cool concept, having them hold all the belts and just have them run roughshod. I agree with you. That would be probably the best way that they could go with this right now. Like, I don't understand honestly, I think what they're really just going to do is make it seem like Randy's going to join the Wyatts and then he's going to turn on them like right away, like what Daniel Bryan did. But I don't know. They could go a lot of interesting ways with them, but track record wise, they're probably not going to.
I got it figured out. You guys ready? I got this. This is what's
ready.
This is what's gonna happen. They are going to. How many are there? What? 3? 3 of them now, right? Because Strowman's on Raw. So we got Randy, Bray. Oh no! Oh, Rowan. Rowan's around somewhere, right? Where's Rowan at?
He's hurt.
He's hurt? Okay. Well, let's include Rowan in this at some point in the near future. Rowan and Harper. So we've got, let's say, Randy and Rowan take the tag titles, and then they put Harper with the IC belt, and then Bray finally gets the world title, right? You guys following me so far?
Yeah.
Then immediately after the match, Harper picks Bray up and puts him on his shoulders, and Randy gives him the thumbs up and then does the thumbs down via Triple H and then does the old electric chair, and then they start beating up Bray. Just kidding. That's never going to happen, but I just thought it'd be funny. The old evolution turn.
I like it. Except they should do it. They should do it to Randy again.
Yeah, it's like Randy just doesn't ever learn his lesson. Oh, it's funny. Oh man. I think that's pretty much it for SmackDown, unless I'm missing something. I don't know. But yeah. I'm pretty much good, guys. We pretty much tackled Hell in a Cell, when we talked about Raw. Is there a match on Hell in a Cell that we haven't talked about that we should have? I don't really know what else is going on in Hell in a Cell besides the matches that we spoke about. I don't think there's one that stands out.
Yeah, you got some. I don't know which ones are going to be in a cell, but you got like the Club versus Enzo and Cass. I think.
Oh yeah. Talk about just missing the boat with the Club, huh? Like, if anybody should be taking the belts off of New Day, it should have been the Club.
Yeah.
It definitely probably shouldn't be Cesaro and Sheamus. But yeah, the Club and Enzo and Cass, I could kind of care less about that feud right now. I feel like they've been fighting forever. They probably haven't been. I don't know.
No, I don't know. It's
well, they were feuding with the Club with John Cena earlier, so I feel like that's kind of, it hasn't been that long since that happened. So.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm good. Fellas. I'm good for the night. Anything else out of you guys? You guys good?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for joining me, fellers. Appreciate it. Real quick before we leave, let's get into some quick plugs again. You guys can find us on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, smarkandmark.com. Go there. New revamped site as of today. Our homeboy Justin putting in the work today. The site looks beautiful. It looks amazing.
Baller.
Great work. Great work, Justin. Both desktop and mobile looks fantastic. So great job. Go to smarkandmark.com. Check out the podcast there. Check out other articles, other cool stuff there. Music mashups in the Creative Corner by Justin also. What else? Limitless Wrestling, Saturday, October 29th, at the New Balance Fieldhouse at UMO. That's University of Maine Orono, Greg's alma mater. And it's Who Watches the Watchmen. It's going to be a fantastic card. We've been following closely the feud between the Tenacious 2 and the Mainstay Posse. You guys can go back the last 2 episodes and listen to interviews with both of them. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Anything goes match. It's going to be awesome. So go to limitlesswrestling.com for tickets and check it out. It's going to be fun. Bangor Fest, part of Bangor Fest. So, and again, check out my YouTube. We've got I got a That Wrestling Club unboxing for their Halloween-themed box. And it was spooky. It was pretty awesome. I enjoyed every bit of it. So go to my YouTube, find out what's in there, subscribe, check it out. Guys, again, thank you both for joining me. Harmon, where are you on the
Mostly silent.
Twitter?
Oh.
Yeah, you have not been very active on Twitter lately.
At Harmon316.
Fun Twitter fact, I now have more Twitter followers than you.
Well, good for you.
Yep. Boom. Yeah, man. You gotta get on the horn, man. Get back into it. You're a great follow when you're active. Get on there. At Harmon316.
Stay tuned for dick pics.
Oh, sliding into DMs there.
Unfollow.
Yeah. Greg, where are you at on the Twitter?
At Gregulator85.
Perfect. You are slightly more active than Harmon nowadays.
I feel like I've ramped it up a little bit.
Yeah.
He's now more active than me. Come on.
I don't know, man. It's a close race here.
So before we came on the air, I was not watching wrestling, but I was watching the episode of Arrow with Cody Rhodes in it.
Oh, cool. How is he? Is he good?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He became a supervillain by falling into a vat of some kind of... It was very Joker-esque, but he came out not being able to feel pain.
Ah.
Yeah.
Was he Stardust?
No, he was selling Stardust, and Stardust was a drug. He was a drug dealer selling Stardust.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. It was entertaining.
Wow. Very cool. Awesome. Well, you guys can check me out on Twitter at Jonny Fashion. Check out the show's Twitter page at ISR2M Podcast. Check out Smark and Mark on Twitter at SmarkandMark_PW. Ooh-wee. If you guys want to shell out a little bit of money, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ISR2M. We got a Undertaker pop vinyl up for grabs. $2 gets you into the raffle, and it's all yours. Guys, great show. A lot of hustle all around. Even everybody on the floor. Great.
Loyalty.
All right, guys. Thank you guys both so much for joining me again. Everybody out there, thanks for listening. Peace out, y'all.
Bye.